Has everybody, Mr. Gallant?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
They're all yours.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Mr. Levin. How are you? Good. Thank you for letting me come in and give a demonstration lesson. Can I very quickly get some names? I can't promise I'm going to remember them, but I'd like to at least try. Can we start with you? Sorry?
Vincent.
Vincent?
Vincent.
Vincent?
Vincent.
Vincent. Okay, Vincent. Aura? Aura. Marlene? Jennifer? Ana Lucia? Angela? Surme? Jordan? Sorry? Jordy. Michael. Oh, my name's Michael also. You're already my favorite. Okay. So, raise your hand if you've heard of the five, if you've taken a geography class. A class in geography. Okay. Raise your hand if you've heard of something called the 5 themes of geography. The 5 themes of geography. Great. That means you're going to be learning something new today. Okay, so I'd like you to first, you guys know what a think, pair, share is? A think, pair, share, where you think first, and then you talk to somebody next to you, and then we're ready to speak out. So what I'd like you to do is take 30 seconds, think about what you see in the picture, think about what you wonder about what you see in the picture, and then we'll share out, okay? Okay, go ahead. Okay, so what do you see in the picture? Raise a hand, please. And I'm going to try. I know it starts with an N, right? Nender.
No.
Vincent? Okay, Vincent.
The sky is purple.
What's it, sorry?
The sky is purple.
The sky's purple. Oh, that's because you got one of the poorly printed ones, right? I'm sorry, my printer ran out of ink. Yes.
I see water and
Water and
buildings.
buildings. Okay.
Are those mountains?
Those could be mountains, yeah. For cliffs.
Yeah, cliffs.
Okay. So what do you wonder about this picture? What do you wonder? Yes.
Is it on Los Angeles?
Sorry?
Is it on Los Angeles?
Can't hear you.
Is it on Los Angeles?
Is it Los Angeles? Good question. Good question. Is it Los Angeles? What else do you wonder? Let's get one more. Does this look like a place you'd like to go?
Yeah.
You think so? Why? Sorry? You think it looks like Florida? What looks like Florida? What makes it look like Florida?
Because in Florida, they have a lot of buildings.
A lot of buildings, yeah. Great, okay. So, we are going to be talking about places today in terms of 5 themes of geography, okay? We are going to be talking, now let's flip the page. The 5 themes of geography is a way of understanding information about the world. Now on the next page, you'll see a list of the 5 themes of geography. We're going to, you guys know how to do popcorn, where one person reads and then you popcorn somebody else? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do that. First person read location, and then I'm going to say, and then what I want to do is I want to talk about this in terms of the place where we live, Washington, D.C., okay? So we're going to talk about the 5 themes of geography, all about how we can apply them to Washington, D.C., okay? So, Nilsson. Okay? Vincent, I'm sorry. Can you read the first one for us?
Location where something is located.
Where something is. So, what can we say about Washington, D.C. in terms of its location? It's in the United States, right? Okay. Can you popcorn somebody for the next one? What a spot is like. So how would you so some ways to describe what a spot is like. The place would be what the people are like, what the landscape is like, what kind of activities go on there, what kind of languages are spoken there. So how would you
Mr.
describe?
Gargan, could you please contact Lincoln May office? Mr. Gargan, please contact Lincoln May office.
How would you describe Washington D.C. as a place? Sorry? It's a city, okay? Is it busy? It's a busy place, right? Okay, so those are all ways of describing the place of Washington D.C., okay? Give me popcorn, somebody to read the next one.
Human
Environment.
interaction, how people affect the environment and bias person.
Thank you. So human environment, the third way we can talk about geography is human environment interaction. That's how humans interact with the environment and how the environment affects humans. How would you say, how would you give an example of that in the place where we live? How do we interact with our environment? Raise your hand if you took a bus or a car to get here, or the metro to get here. Is that interacting with the environment?
Yes.
Yeah, it is, right? When you came out of your house today, or before you left today, did you look up a weather report to find out what the weather was like? You already knew what it was going to be like, right? You figured it was going to be cold because you were wearing a coat, right? But some of the rest of us figured it was going to be warm today, right? So we decided, well, not very wisely, but some of us decided to wear short sleeves, right? So that's a way that your environment impacts how you behave. Okay? All right, who read last? You did. Will you read the next one, please? Or will you popcorn somebody, please?
So,
Element. How people, ideas, and animals move from one place to another.
Excellent, thank you. You guys are great readers. So, in Washington, D.C., how do people move from one place to another?
traveling, bus,
Best. How else?
walking.
Walk, yeah. What about things? What kinds of things move from one place to another in Washington, D.C.? Sorry? Cars?
Bicycles.
Bicycles? The food that you eat, does it come from the city mostly? Where does it come from? Might come from farms, yeah. Some of it might come from the city, but most of it comes from somewhere else. Okay, and one more. Please popcorn somebody.
Region, a group of places that have common characteristics.
Great. Now this is often the toughest one. How would you describe? Can you think of any way that Washington D.C. is part of a region? It's part of a culture region. Good. How are we part of a culture region? Do you think? Okay. A region actually tells how places are the same. So, a lot of people in Washington, D.C. are of what ethnicity? What countries do we come from?
There's a lot of Hispanics.
A lot of people are Hispanic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are there a lot of people who are Hispanic in Miami, for instance, in Florida? Yeah. Are there a lot of people who are Hispanic in a lot of cities? Right? Sorry? In California. So these are all part of what's called a language region. There are places that are different in some ways, but alike in other ways. So those are part of a region where a lot of people speak Spanish. Okay? Okay, so now I would like to skip forward to this page. Actually, okay, here's what I'd like to do. So that I'd like one person in your group, one person at your table, to hang on to this one, to keep it open to this one, okay? So we're gonna share now. One person keep it open to this one. And another person have this one. So, what I'd like to do, we're gonna, for each picture, we're gonna talk about, can we say anything about the location of this picture? Can we say anything about the place of this picture? Can we say anything about human-environment interaction? Can we say anything about movement? Can we say anything about region? Okay? Can we say anything about, we're going to talk about this picture in terms of the 5 themes of geography. Now, would you guys like to do a think, fair, share on this, or would you like to, are you ready to talk about it? Raise your hand if you prefer to think about it before you have to speak about it. Okay, so let's do that. I want you to look at this picture, and with your table mates, I want you to tell me at least 2 of the 5 themes of geography that you can see in this picture. So for instance, I can see human-environment interaction in this picture because this person is doing what? He's doing work. He's changing his what? Is he changing the place where he lives?
No.
What is? Do you think these rows were there before he got there? What about this animal? Was this animal already hooked up to that piece of wood? So he's changed the way that his environment works, right? That's human-environment interaction, okay? So I'd like you to take just 30 seconds, and I'd like you, each table, to come up with 2 ways that they can think about this in terms of the 5 themes of geography. Raise your hand if you understand. Raise your hand if you need me to explain it again. Raise your hand. Okay, let's give it a try and see how we do, okay? All right. So again, can you tell where this place is? Okay, it's on a farm. Good.
I see movement.
You see movement, excellent, awesome. That's moving.
Because the animals are moving, he's moving.
Great, very good. So you've got 2, right? You've got location, you've got movement. See if you can come up with 1 more. Okay. So, we can use this one. Can you tell, do you see movement here? What do you see moving? The animals and the humans are moving. Can you see what this place is like? So that's place, right? And how would you describe this place?
Farm.
Okay, good. See if you can come up with 1 more.
Movement. Porque ellos se están moviendo.
Para acá, para caminar.
Okay, are we all set? Okay, how about this table over here? What 2, please tell me what 2 themes you saw here and why?
I said movement.
Movement, how so?
Because he's using the animals for help.
Okay, good. The animals are moving, the person's moving. Okay. What else do you see?
Location.
How so?
So like a farm.
Okay, so here I want to be careful because when we're talking about location, we're talking about precisely where something is. Or relatively where something is. Can you tell where this thing is? Can you tell, for instance, if this is in the United States? So here I want to differentiate between location and place. Location tells you precisely where something is. Place tells you what something is like. So I think what you're saying is that you can tell us something about this place rather than its location. Unless you're telling me that you can tell that you know where this is. You know where it is? Because I don't know where it is. Okay, so we've got movement, you said, and place, right? Okay, how about this table over here? Location, okay, how so? Okay, so it's the countryside, good. What makes you think it's the countryside? What do you not see? You don't see a lot of machines, right? You don't see a lot of buildings. Okay, one more? You see place, how so? Vegetation, good, okay. How about over here? You see, okay, so we were over here talking about, what's this one?
Human environment interaction.
Thank you. How do you see human environment interaction here? How is the human interacting with the environment? How is the environment affecting the human?
He's like getting his job done.
He's getting his job done, right? What is his job? If the human wasn't okay, so what is the human environment interaction going to produce here? I mean, we don't know exactly what he's going to produce, but he's going to produce some sort of crop, right? So anytime we're talking about about farming, we're talking about what? Human environment interaction. Thank you. Do we have two over here? Okay, how about over here? Do you see this one there? Human environment interaction, right? How so? I'm sorry? Oh, good. So they're using animals to move, so that would be interact. So the humans are interacting with what part of their environment? So the horses or the donkeys, that's right. Okay. You see a house there? Okay. Oh, cows, right. Yeah, it's hard to tell because of the picture whether those are cows or horses. Okay, so let's do the next one together. Let's do, since we're running out of time, let's do this one, okay? Okay, so we're talking about this spot right here. Do you see location there? Can you tell exactly where the spot is that we're talking about? Raise your hand if you think you see location there. Okay? Right, so this spot tells you exactly where it is. It's in the United States, right? Okay, what about place? Can you tell anything about what this spot is like? Can you tell from looking at this map what the climate is like? What language they speak there? Can you tell any of that? Not really, right? So we can't really say that place is part of this. Okay? Now, can you say anything about human environment interaction from this picture? Anything about how this spot, or people in this spot, are interacting with their environment, or changing their environment? Do you see anybody farming in this picture? Do you see anybody driving in this picture? No, right? So in this picture, we can't talk about human environment interaction. There's nothing there that gives us any of the information. Okay? Movement. Do you see anything about movement in this picture? No. Okay, terrific. And do you see anything about region in this picture? Something that tells you what all these, that makes all these places similar? Region is often the hardest one, I find. What are these, what do you see over here? What is this, what are these, this sort of light colored things? That indicates Mexico? All the way up here? California, Mexico, those are mountains that you see there. So that, for instance, is a mountainous region. Okay? Okay, so we have about 5 minutes left. What I'd like you to do is take a look at this last one, okay? This last one, and you guys can work together on this. What I'd like you to do is come up with two themes that you see evident in this picture. Explain why. Okay? Explain why. That's it. Okay? Two themes that you see evident in this picture and explain why. Raise your hand if you do not understand. Okay, so we'll talk about one. So, what is one theme that you see evident in this picture? Movement, excellent. How do you see movement? Okay, so everybody can write down here movement. Movement. And why do you see movement? Because they're moving in the car. Taking, or let's see, riding in the what? Car. Okay, so I'd like everybody to write this down on this page. Yes, you can write it down on this page, okay? Movement, they are riding in the car. So that's one theme that we saw. I'd like you to try and do two more. Two more. I want you to do it with your partner, okay? You have a question?
No.
Okay. So each table is only going to have one sheet that they're writing on, okay? Because you're doing this together.
Like the road.
Okay, so that is what? Human. How's the place? Okay, good. Location, you can tell exactly where this is? If you had a clear picture, you could, but you don't really, right? Okay, so maybe location will work. What about, so you got place. Explain to me why you can see place. Okay. Would you say that this is a busy place and there are a lot of people there, or not? There's not a lot of people. Okay, maybe more people inside the car. So you got movement, you got place, and what else? Great. How are the humans environment? How are the humans? Okay. Was this a road there before the humans put it there? No, the road wasn't there before the humans put it there, right? So that's human interaction. It's changed. Do you think this is a warm place or a cold place? What makes you say that? Okay, they look like they're dressed for warm weather. Okay, we all set? Okay, so this table, what did you see?
For place, the cars on the highway.
Okay, it's a place where there's highways, where there's a lot of busy traffic. Okay.
Then it said, they are in the city.
They're in the city. Okay. Okay, so we got place and location. Yeah. Anything else? Okay, we're moving in the car. How about over here?
Movement, they are driving in the car. Location, the car is on the highway. And human environment interaction uses car create pollution.
Excellent. Creates pollution. Okay, over here. Okay. Yeah. And what else? Sorry? Region? How do you see region?
They all look like the same.
The people look the same. Yeah? Okay. Okay, so it's a region where people have the same look about them. Over here? They're in the car, good. Okay. And what else do you see? And, okay, you see cars, and you were telling me that you see human environment interaction, right? Because of the way that people are. What are they wearing? How would you describe what they're wearing?
They're wearing white shirts.
Great. So you were telling me that you think that this is a cold place or a warm place?
Warm place.
Warm place. Raise your hand if you agree that this is probably a warm place. What makes you say that?
Because they ain't wearing jackets.
They're not wearing jackets, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Although you would probably keep wearing a jacket if it was warm, right? You'd like to wear the jacket. Yeah. Okay. I think that's all we have time for. So I want to thank you guys for being active and for participating and for being a great class. Thank you very much. Thank you. do you want to hang on to?
Your name?
Do you want to hang on to these?
You have your own lesson plan? Really?
Do you want this? Yeah.
Falta otro, falta el otro.
No tengo una tres.
Va. Yo voy.
Tú tres.
¿Vos querés dar también?
¿Quieres tener tu trabajo ya?
Thank you.
Ahí está,
Me di cuenta cuando me puso. Tiene que dar explicaciones más. Yeah.
Do you know where I find Mr. Calhoun?
Oh, esto que hizo bien. Sí. Esto es que viene, que cuando pienso. Que hizo bien. Yo solo quería